It's happening right now. The regime is cracking, and the world is watching in real time. After 3 weeks of the most devastatingly precise aerial bombardment in modern military history, after the obliteration of Iran's Air Force, Navy, radar systems, and the near total decapitation of its military leadership, the Islamic Republic of Iran is staring into the abyss, and now they're openly admitting it. Stick with me to the very end of this video because we've got all the latest and what it means for a Middle East and indeed an entire world finally free of this murderous regime. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. President Trump just made a huge announcement he took to Truth Social and wrote, quote, "I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I've instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions." Thank you for your attention to this matter. So here's President Trump himself.
Who is Steve Witkoff speaking with, Mr. President?
Speaking with in Iran.
A top person. Don't forget, we've wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3. But we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
Is that the Supreme Leader?
No, not the Supreme Leader. We don't.
Not much talk
Well,
about
nobody heard of the second Supreme Leader, the son.
Are these direct?
Nobody. We have not heard from the son. Every once in a while, you'll see a statement made, but we haven't. We don't know if he's living. But the people that seem to be running it, and they seem that based on really fact, because things they've said have taken place.
Mr. President,
Again,
Mr. President, I know you deployed.
because I don't want him to be killed. Okay, I don't want him to be killed.
Mr. President, you deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now. You know, nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country. But perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Now, almost immediately upon making that announcement, oil prices began to drop and the market began to surge. So this is all most likely more a signal that Trump wanted to send to the markets. But that said, his remarks about negotiating with someone inside the regime, someone who really has the power, that mirrors one of the strategies that Israeli and American forces have been employing for some time now, which involves flipping one or a number of key leaders inside the regime over to our side. We've been getting word that there is indeed a pro-American plan inside the highest command leadership of the IRGC. There are reports of a pro-Western IRGC general already in relationship with the CIA and Mossad who could step up and lead an internal revolution at the moment of maximum IRGC weakness. Here's Doron Kempel, former deputy commander of Israel's Sayeret Matkal, speaking about precisely this almost 2 weeks ago.
This strategy of a revolution would mean, A, we need to make sure that we demolish all the military infrastructure. All along, we're preparing a friendly general who's probably already in relationship with the Mossad or the CIA. And at the right time, when we have demolished the military infrastructure, and when we feel that the IRGC has been weakened sufficiently, this general basically steps up and leads the uprising. I don't have inside information. I don't know where we stand relative to that step, but it's probably a matter of a few weeks.
So is that what we're seeing here? I mean, again, as President Trump made clear, virtually the whole of the Iranian regime's leadership has been wiped out. I think it's pretty safe to say at this point that Moshtaba, the son of Ayatollah Khamenei, he's not in the picture, right? He's either dead or he's in a coma. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's pretty clear he's just a figurehead at this point. Remember, Iran has a doomsday defense protocol known as the Mosaic that basically allows the IRGC to take control of the country. So the Mosaic is the basic protocol of what the Revolutionary Guard is supposed to do in the event of the entire Iranian leadership getting wiped out. If command and control breaks down, then the Revolutionary Guard is supposed to break up into 31 separate units, each assigned to one of Iran's 31 provinces, each commanding local brigades, battalions, and Basij units with near total autonomy. The explicit design was this: if Tehran's command structure gets destroyed, the regime doesn't freeze. It fragments, and it keeps fighting. So each piece keeps shooting, keeps repressing, keeps projecting order without waiting for instructions from the center. Again, the doctrine is known as the Mosaic defense. And here's the critical insight here. The fact that it's activating right now and all this sporadic kind of, improvised firing off of missiles without any kind of coherence to it, that's not evidence of strength. It's evidence that the regime has entered the exact collapse phase it prepared for. So when Iran still fires missiles after losing so many of its commanders, analysts say those launches don't prove strategic coordination. They actually prove the machine was built to outlive its commanders. The Doomsday system fires on autopilot. That's not resilience. That's a dead hand system doing what it was programmed to do. So, for example, when the Iranian foreign minister was asked, why on earth did Iran strike Oman, which is its ally, he admitted, well, there's really no coherent explanation. And there wasn't, because it was the result of the system having collapsed. It's in its death throes. It's one of the reasons why major opposition figures like Reza Pahlavi have told the Iranian people explicitly to stay home, stock essentials, maintain nighttime chants, wait for the decisive moment, wait for the right time to rise up when the broken up regime is at its weakest. And that time may indeed be at hand. We are now getting indications that Iranians are finally rising up, and we're about to see what makes this moment truly historic. We are indeed witnessing a historic turning point as President Trump leads a righteous crusade to finally liberate the world from the terrorist state of Iran. A much more sinister war is being waged right here on our own soil. While our commander-in-chief moves with decisive strength to demolish the Iranian war machine, obliterating their military hubs like Karg Island to protect global freedom, he's being systematically undermined by the enemies within. These anti-Trump shadow state radicals are desperate. They see the president winning, so they're manufacturing a domestic crisis to try and break the spirit of the American patriot. They want the dollar in flames and your life savings frozen in the crossfire of their manufactured economic blackout. Their goal is to force you into a state of financial submission where the shadow treasury controls every penny you own. The question is, will you wait until the bank holidays start, or will you launch your family finance defense today? You must act now to move your savings into a territory these radicals cannot touch, and that is cryptocurrency. And you can build your financial fortress right now by using Block Trust IRA. I'm a proud client of Block Trust, and I've seen their amazing Animus AI platform work firsthand. Their 24/7 Animus AI has consistently outperformed Bitcoin by over 250% since 2020 by navigating the exact volatility these saboteurs are trying to create. While the world panics, Block Trust IRA's $200 million institutional-grade insurance shield defends your wealth, ensuring your life's work remains out of reach from the shadow state. Now, to help your launch your defense, Block Trust IRA is authorizing a $2,500 family finance defense bonus to be added to your new crypto IRA the moment you sign up, to use right away. Head on over to turleytalkscrypto.com right now and schedule a confidential discussion with their crypto AI experts. Share this link with every patriot you know. It's time for a collective family finance defense. Act now to defend your family and your future. That's TurleyTalksCrypto.com to safeguard your family's prosperity today.
Continue to heed our advice. We've had multiple messages that have come out that have said, beware, the government doesn't care about you. They're launching missiles and drones from populated areas. You need to stay inside for right now. Third, there will be a clear signal at some point, as the president has indicated, for you to be able to come out.
And then that's CENTCOM Commander Admiral Cooper continuing to tell the Iranian people to be patient and continue staying at home until they get the signal, the green light, to take down the regime. Remember, the Iranian people know that this is a regime that will not hesitate to gun down their own citizens. We saw that by the tens of thousands of victims back in January, the January uprisings. But we did see the people's defiance just days back with the public celebrations of the Persian New Year, what's called Nowruz, which has been banned by the Islamic Republic. And we're getting word that the people are indeed beginning to slowly but surely rise up. The combination of Trump's military campaign, destroying Iran's Air Force, Navy, radar systems, and military leadership, and the complete moral collapse of the theocracy that's spent decades lying to its own people, it has lit a fuse. The people of Iran are beginning to move, and the regime, for the very first time, looks like it cannot stop them. And what we're seeing here really is part of a classic dual-track squeeze that Trump has been clamping on Iran, putting pressure on the regime from both the inside and the outside. So what we have to really appreciate here is that this massive two-directional stress factor that's being applied to Iran is what's really key to watching them finally crack. So from the inside, the Islamic Republic has been facing its single worst domestic crisis since coming to power in 1979. They're in an economic freefall, right? The rial, that's the Iranian currency, that's lost 20,000% of its value since 1979. They're in the midst of a water crisis. 90% of their water reserves are gone. And the Bazari, that's the merchant class, which carries inordinate economic influence in Iran, they've turned on the mullahs. They want the mullahs gone. And the latest, what Trump has said they'll stop doing for these next 5 days, is hitting Iran's electrical grids and power plants. So Trump has been going full Cuba on Iran, cutting them off increasingly from their electrical power. And that's only going to further provoke the continuation of the single most serious internal uprising in 4 decades in Iran. So that's the pressure from the inside. But then, of course, you've got pressure from the outside. You've got this massive 3-week bombardment of aerial power unleashed like nothing the world has ever quite seen before. We've been talking about how this really is the first technopolar war ever fought, where third-dimensional warfare, land, sea, and air, is being replaced with fifth-dimensional warfare, which adds 2 more domains on top of those 3, cyberspace and space itself. But more importantly, it doesn't just add those domains, it fuses them, right? Real-time satellite intelligence feeds directly into targeting algorithms, cyber operators, blind enemy radar before a single aircraft crosses the border, Space Command denies the enemy GPS while preserving their own, electronic warfare aircraft cut the nervous system of an integrated air defense network, all the while stealth bombers fly through it undetected. Every domain talks to every other domain in this fifth-dimensional war simultaneously in milliseconds, compressing what used to take days of planning into a kill chain measured by literally seconds. And the regime simply can't compete with the overall pressure coming from this double squeeze. Internally, they're falling apart, and externally, they are literally coming apart. So, of course, we'll continue to keep a very close eye on how things develop, but what's absolutely clear is that the Iranian regime is at the end of its rope, and there's literally nothing they can do about it. Got a question? Ask me directly. Every Monday night, I go live with Courageous Patriots Club members for a real unscripted Q&A. Scan the QR code and join us.